with a brilliant display of recovery against that huge Zergling Baneling bust. DIMAGA, I mean, he loves those Baneling busts. He was the first player really ever to popularize them, just tearing through many famous Terrans in the Zotac Cups with them. And it looks like it's just as players are playing more and evolving more creative ways to just defend and recover, that it's becoming increasingly less viable. So DIMAGA needs to step his game up and start playing a little bit more stable. Sometimes that's the one concern, one criticism that people do have of DIMAGA's play, is that he has such a strong, stable Zerg player that many question why he does these sort of cheesy, aggressive openings. His fundamentals are just super sound. So I look forward to seeing what he's going to do on, looks like Steps of War was his map of choice. And again, kind of funny to always see Zerg players choosing Steps of War, as ordinarily you'd think that they would want something like Metalopolis or Scrap Station where they can power and just comfortably play passive. But of course, Starcraft and Starcraft 2 are all about playing your own style. So why not? Looks like DIMAGA's just going for the 9 Overlord and Whitera, doing what I would have thought Huck would have done on this map, which is to build a pylon at the bottom of his ramp, so that way he can get those gateways up super fast. But DIMAGA just not going to be doing any sort of 10 pool, 9 pool. Though it might sound goofy, it is popular on Steps of War. 2-player maps, small, close positions. Very easy to get away with some sort of early cheese. Either way, DIMAGA continuing to drone up. Curious if he's going to be going for the fast geyser technique. We've seen a lot of players who enjoy doing things like going for, fast roaches, fast banelings, that sort of thing. Wouldn't be surprised if DIMAGA did go for this fast gas technique, and it looks like there is the spawning pool going down as well, and the gas going down. I still really like just getting a few roaches early on. Sometimes you have to be a little bit careful whenever your opponent is going for some sort of fast stalker, because stalkers are very obnoxious to deal with when you are going for fast roaches. But regardless, 2-gate coming out from Whitera. Looks like slightly faster than last time. These gateways are a little bit closer in terms of that building time. Drones popping into the extractor now. Pool getting close to finish, and it looks like no powering end in sight. DIMAGA wanting to get as many drones as he can in before that spawning pool finishes. Looks like we still don't even see any available larvae. There's one. Let's see if DIMAGA ends up saving it, or whether he's just saving up for roaches. Very curious to see what he will do. 2-gate becoming so popular, and of all maps to play on, Steps of War is the scariest map to deal with a 2-gate rush on. I don't like this placement. Straight up dislike it. If you're all the way over here, units can hit you from below, so you have to build a cannon a little bit far to the right, which of course leaves this ramp vulnerable. Gateways here are much more preferred. Now, of course, Whitera is the kind of player who I wouldn't be surprised if he did go for some sort of cybernetics core wall off and just tech immediately. But either way, no scouting happening right now for Whitera. DIMAGA, again, getting gas, but keeping guys in the geyser. That is a very unusual play. That's a little bit too aggressive. Prefer more powering coming out. Whitera now throwing down a forge as well. Looks like he's going to have some very far advanced cannons up here. Going to try to have a little bit of coverage of this ramp area. But you really, again, do need to worry about Hydros and Roaches poaching from that right side. Looks like the Zealots are going by the just regular bear guy. He's not quite a panda bear guy. And it looks like he also got in a car wreck, according to that bottom portrait. DIMAGA also advancing forward up to this ramp. There's Baneling Nest again. DIMAGA, you are almost certainly DIMAGA playing. This, again, very easy way to do a big counter push. Oh no, Whitera. Oh no, getting surrounded by the Zerglings. That is a huge blunder. That will mean that the Baneling bust can happen much more early, and there's almost nothing that Whitera can do to prevent it. All the Zealots are falling. Huge misstep by Whitera. Whitera not only... Oh, nice micro by DIMAGA, pulling the Zerglings back, managing to keep one alive. That is a gigantic blunder by DIMAGA. Did Whitera see the... Oh, yeah, alright, hitting the B button instead of the V button. Well, welcome to the King of the Beta tournament, not the King of the Caster hitting the correct buttons tournament. Oh, man. Ihan timing. Either way, it looks like Whitera knows exactly what is going on in that base. He knows that Banelings are coming, but either way, he's in a tight spot. Look at how wide open this area is. Cybernetics Core needs to go down there immediately. The only real answer Protosses have to dealing with Baneling bust is walling themselves in. DIMAGA is not letting up on the Zergling production, still has plenty of larvae coming out with tons of Zerglings en route as well. There come 7 Banelings popping up right away. I do not like this space here, and oh no, this is like, okay, I thought this was a critical pylon at first. I didn't see this other one back here, because that is another dangerous way to lose to a Baneling bust. DIMAGA continuing to vomit more larvae, has enough money to expand, but it looks like he only cares about the Baneling bust. Pylon going down, Cannon taking some serious hits as well, and DIMAGA getting repelled again. Nexus also going up for Whitera, and look, just rebuilding the pylon. Easy peasy. DIMAGA needs to do some sort of tech. He cannot hope to win all of his games by gigantic Baneling bust, but it looks like he's going to try. He's going to keep some Zerglings outside the front to spot for any sort of scouting Zerglings. We do have 2 assimilators going down in the main. Is there a cybernetics core up? Yes, indeed. Those sentries are so essential to pop up. And, you know, we did see that Idra was trying to do a little bit of a bust early on against his opponent. And how did Tester defend against that? Well, he rushed for sentries and threw down the force fields. Whitera doing it completely different, spending money instead on buildings and zealots. Here's a key weak point. The zealots can fall, then getting right up to those cannons can happen. You do have enough space to sweep around with the Zerglings. Either way, DIMAGA looks like DIMAGA says only Banelings and Zerglings all the time. Going to continue to make only those units. And Whitera, look how many cannons he has to build due to this placement. Again, this is a huge vulnerability. Building the buildings back a little bit tighter, a little bit easier to defend against these kinds of things. Stargate again. Whitera seeing that he is in the same position as he was in last game and needs to make something happen. But he's in an even better spot, actually. I actually think he should even wall this off with a pylon. But either way, going for the Stargate, excellent transition. There's almost nothing that DIMAGA can do about that because, again, still just Zerglings and Banelings, and DIMAGA, a little disappointingly, putting himself in the same rough spot. Choosing Steps of War will make this bust a little bit stronger, but limits DIMAGA's options. No expansion coming up yet. DIMAGA does have a good sense of what's coming up, except he does not have vision of this Stargate. Very smart positioning of this cannon by Whitera. Wants to be able to cover this area a little bit more easily. Doesn't have any cannons touching each other. Helps to make things a little bit more Baneling proof. Not many units popping out. Uh-oh, there goes down the pylon and the cannon and the gateway. Everything going down. Oh my god, DIMAGA getting just the right amount of Banelings to kill 100% of everything at the front. Look at that big crater forming at the front. Too late on the force fields. Whitera trying to just surround that final cannon, but the Zerglings ripping through the probes, and this last cannon will end up falling. One pathetic little Void Ray comes out to just play pool with these Zerglings once again. It's going to be real tough for Whitera to come out of this. He's trying to get some cannons up as these workers try to auto-build some cannons, but not quite up in time, and DIMAGA might be able to take this game too. There is still a Void Ray wandering around on the map. Whitera has a little glimmer of hope if he can somehow manage to hide and just kill off that queen in DIMAGA's main. God, DIMAGA has just nothing to defend against that Void Ray except one queen. Whitera is not giving up yet. He's trying to defend, but there are just too many Zerglings at his expo. That Nexus will fall. DIMAGA doing a little bit of Nexus target firing, doesn't manage to take it out. One Zealot, one Void Ray up right now for Whitera. And DIMAGA, what is he making? Is he continuing to make Zerglings? Yes, indeed. He wants to end this game here and now. Will Whitera be able to get a second Stargate up? That's where all the Chrono Boost needs to be going right now for Whitera, and there he begins going down on it. And uh-oh, DIMAGA looks like he's doing a little target firing. Is going to take out that pylon. That's so unfortunate for Whitera. He's not going to be able to get that Stargate up. Photon cannons going down in Whitera's main. Needs to get those started long before that Forge can actually get killed off. And only one Void Ray and one Zealot left to defend. DIMAGA going to pull back. And it's just going to continue massing up Queens, getting another Gas Geyser so he can make yet more Banelings to bust this front. Zerglings not quite sure what they want to attack. Instead, they want to morph directly in front of these buildings. A little bit risky there. But this Void Ray is already too preoccupied with eliminating these Zerglings, so either way, Whitera needs to begin making something that can build units. Really, I mean, this gateway, now that it's powered down, there's not very much that he can do. Whitera's going to try to build some pylons to wall himself in, do a little bit of creative SimCity style, but DIMAGA just going to walk right up to this cannon, takes that one out. Huge number of Zerglings surrounding, and Whitera giving it the good game. DIMAGA, a little bit dirty way to play, but It's effective as always. The Zergling Baneling bust that ended up failing in the first game, we saw Whitera just wall himself off on 10 different layers with buildings and cannons, and barely managed to defend that Baneling bust in game 2. Different story. DIMAGA using the closer positions, and the fact that Whitera had only one pylon is a key vulnerability in that wall off, and just exploiting it as best he could with, a million control groups of Banelings. Now, we will be going on to Game 3 in just a moment. We are going to take, once again, a brief 15-second break because I do need to clear my poor little nerd throat. So, we will be going into Game 3 in just a minute.